first time we went to New York City and we were walking across the Brooklyn Bridge. She was just like, she worked and lived in New York City before she came to DC, and she was so excited to be there and like walking, and I had to convince her to walk on the Brooklyn Bridge because she wasn't super excited about it. I'm like, come on, let's just do it. Like, it was my first time ever being to New York City, so I was super excited to do some of the touristy stuff. She's like, fine, we'll do it. And then we made it halfway, and she's like, well, we're halfway, we might as well keep going. And I was just like, I remember just like, it was such a fun weekend, and like that day we spent walking around New York City was like just so much fun. And then also it's tied with because when we went to Boston, I loved going to Boston.
Oh, Boston was
We
fun.
did the whole drive up like the coast and like up like through like all the states, and then we like stayed in Boston, walked around, and that weekend was like such a blast.
We decided to make a trip in June because all of my cousins who lived out of state would be in town, and my grandparents that live in Mexico would be in town. So I convinced my parents to throw a barbecue at our house and decided that that was the day Ben was gonna meet all 50-something of them. So we drove. I ended up having to get my appendix taken out in Ohio because it almost ruptured, and then finished the drive the next day to Chicago. And he fit completely right in, made friends with all of my cousins, was conversating with my uncles, and it felt so natural. So every time I think of like my favorite moment, I always flash like when we're with my family and like how you just get along with all of them.
She is kind. She is very headstrong and at times stubborn, but she's determined to do the thing she wants to do. But she's also, very kind and loving, and will do anything for her friends and family.
If I describe Ben, I go, think of everything I am, but calm it down by like 20%, and you get
Probably
Ben.
more.
Probably more.
Probably like 50.
Yeah, probably more like 50%. He's very calming. There's something about him, even when I tend to wind myself up about the silliest things, he's got a way to just calm me down. And I see that even with like his friends and his family, where he'll just go and he's a very calming person. But he's also very funny and very, very nerdy. Calming, funny, and nerdy.
I'll take it.
Are really what describe you.
I've been called worse. My family's from Portugal, so we were in Portugal for it, and we went to this town that I love, and has a castle like wall essentially around it. And I remember as we were walking up to this spot that I knew I wanted to do the proposal at, I was like, I hope she doesn't kill me for making her walk up all these huge stairs in her dress.
It was so steep.
And it was like kind of hot out. I'm like, I hope she it's gonna be worth it. I know she'll be excited, but she's gonna kill me first. I also hope she doesn't fall off the wall because her balance isn't very good. But then as we got there, I was like, I should have planned out, because we had my sister with me. I was like, I should have planned out a sign to let my sister know that I'm gonna actually propose in this second. And once I just was like, I'm just gonna do it now, and I just did it. And then once I was done, I was just like super excited. I was like, it worked. It all came together, and I'm happy.
Well, in my defense, climbing up those stairs were after I had taken a nap and decided we were not going to go out that day.
Yeah.
So it took a lot of convincing from him and his sister to convince me to put a dress back on and be excited to take these pictures that I thought at the moment I could do without.
Yeah.
And then I remember thinking, because Margarita kept trying to like find a good spot on where she would be, and I was like, well, they're just pictures. Like, I don't think it's that hard to find a spot, but like, it'll be good. Like, whatever she decides will be great. And then we were like, okay, well, we'll take a picture. And I know as I picked up on it rather quickly, because I usually stand on his left side, and he put the ring in his left pocket. And when I was like, okay, we'll take the picture, I'm gonna stand on this side, and he's like, you can't stand there. I was like, what do you mean I can't stand there? This is where I stand. He's like, you can't stand there. So he like moved me to this side, and I was like, all right, this feels weird, but I guess. And then you started counting down.
Oh yeah.
You were like, oh, I remember that, because I was like, why is he? And I was like, oh, I see what's happening now. Because between not being able to stand on the side I usually stand, he was going, okay, 3, 2, okay, 3, 2, and then finally got down. I was like, oh, I see what's happening now.
I was trying to like connect with my sister, like, come on, like, are you like ready to take the picture? Like, I don't know what she was doing, so. That was what the counting was.
Yes, I just like to think that you were counting down to get the strength to do it.
I'm excited to see a bunch of people that we haven't seen in a while. There's like some friends I haven't seen. That'll be nice to see them. Some of our family that we might not get to see as much will be, and some like family friends that we haven't seen in a while.
I'm really excited for you to see the wedding dress because I am very much, when I go shopping, I tell Ben that I'm gonna put on a fashion show every single time. So I make him sit and watch while I change into all of the outfits I just bought. So the hardest thing has been like not telling him what the wedding dress looks like.
Yeah.
It's tied with like him seeing it, but I think at the same time, like I know how excited my parents are for our wedding. So I also am really excited to like see my dad. And my dad's not a very emotional person, but to me it's gonna be all of like the first looks.
Yeah.
I'm excited for all of the first looks. My mom cries every time we talk about the wedding.
Our moms will probably cry.
I know my mom will cry. My dad will probably shed a tear or two.
Neither our dads are big criers.
No. I think I can get my dad though. Yeah. That'll be a big one. I don't think you'll cry. I think you'll get close.
Yeah. I don't think.
And if not, you need to like fake the tears.
Yeah. Carry onion with me.
There you go. I'll rub onion. I'll have Scott rub onion under your cheeks.
There you go.
Yeah, that's something he would do.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to see where we settle down. I'm excited to see like our first home. Kids will definitely be a big one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like figuring out where we're gonna live.
Yeah.
Because we've built such a life in Virginia, and you are from Virginia, so it makes sense. But my entire family's still in Chicago.
So we're just like trying to figure out where we're even gonna be. So
yeah, Ben wants to move to Idaho just to get away from everything, and he's like, "Well, we're not picking. We're just gonna go completely different." But so I mean, well, kids is in our future, and we know that. I keep trying to convince him to have more than not.
Yeah. We haven't settled on the amount, but kids in the house and where we live is going to be interesting to see.
And the dog.
Yeah, and what dog we get too. That's the big debate right now. And that'll probably be the first one settled, is which dog we get.
Yeah, Ben wants a bigger dog and I want a littler dog.
Yeah.
So that's most likely what it's going to be.
Can't be. We got 2 cats. We can't
but I also want a third cat.
Yeah.
Because they're so tiny.
I love you, and I'm really happy that 3 weeks after you moved down to DC that we both matched on Bumble, and you were very forward and just like, let's hang out.
Let's hang out. Let's do this thing.
So,
it'll be fun.
Super excited.
I'm excited for a fun name.
Yeah.
Once we get married, I'll take his last name, but my name's gonna be Alexis Alexo. If you say it in English.
Yeah. Lucky you.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Yeah.
100, I think we're at 153 days till our wedding. I like to count down. That's a wrap.